Hello. Yes, that is right. Motorsports 360 is back in your life for another episode. What is up, everyone? It is Marty here. I am not 6 minutes late, Brian. Shut up. But anyway, don't expect this show to be probably 1 hour long tonight because of the fact we really don't have that much to talk about, to be honest. We'll try our best and get this in within one. We'll try our best to get up to 1 hour. But yeah, let's get on to the show. We've got first off Michael Kelly.
Well, hello there.
He's AFK. We've got who this guy that just joined. We got Kelvin.
Oh.
We got Cody.
Yes. Hello, YouTube. How's it going today?
About time someone responded.
Yay!
And then we got Justin.
Hello.
And then in case they didn't hear me, he's just walking into his room now. We've got Kelvin. And now he walks out. Bye, Kelvin. And then there's Michael.
I responded already.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, well, I said hello there.
Oh, I don't know how I did not hear you then.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Alright, did anyone else hear him?
Yeah, I
I
did.
don't know how in the world I did not hear him. But, okay. Just, whatever.
Moving on.
On with the show. We'll try our best once again to get this thing up to 60 minutes. But for right now, let's just start off with a little bit of race recap. So we'll go to the Cup race first. At Atlanta, delayed a few hours because of rain. To be honest, I thought we were not going to get that race in because of how bad it was raining and how old the track is. But luckily, we got rid of the weather. No weepers came up. We went racing in Atlanta for the full 325 laps. Thought this race would have been done early. Uh-oh. Look who else wants to join me. Hi, Luna. Hi, baby. Can you see my cat?
I'm allergic to cats.
No, you're not.
Much. See?
And there she goes, kneeling on her blanket. But anyway, let's talk about this race. So, the only big cautions we had were on lap 159 when Jimmy Johnson spun in turn 2, and then lap 297, Trevor Bayne blew up and it caught Bubba Wallace and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the wall. Here's how your top 10 looked in the stages. Stage 1 top 10 was Kevin Harvick, followed by Clint Bowyer, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano. Stage 2, your top 10 was Brad Keselowski, followed by Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, Clint Bowyer, and Daniel Suarez. At the end of the day, Kevin Harvick led 181 laps en route to his first victory of the season. Here is the rest of the top 10. You had Brad Keselowski second, Clint Bowyer third, Denny Hamlin fourth, Martin Truex Jr. fifth, Joey Logano sixth, Kyle Busch seventh, Kurt Busch eighth, Kyle Larson ninth, and Chase Elliott rounds out the top 10. I'm sorry if I'm doing something with my right hand. I mentioned my cat, and you see how my webcam just moved a few times? She's rubbing her face on the corner of my laptop screen. She's happy, aren't you? Yeah. Good girl. On to the Xfinity Series race here. Now, this was a race I did not get the chance of watching. That was the truck race. However, though, I did hear about this. Lap 11, Cole Custer and Jonathan Nemechek got together on the front stretch, and that was the main accident. Here's how the stages looked in the top 10. Stage 1, it was Kevin Harvick, followed by Christopher Bell, Ryan Reed, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Kyle Benjamin, Elliott Sadler, Austin Cindric, Ty Dillon, and Justin Allgaier. Stage 2, your top 10. Once again, Harvick and Bell. Joey Logano, third. Elliott Sadler, fourth. Chase Elliott, not Chase Elliott. I'm sorry. If I've been saying Chase Elliott, I apologize. It's Tyler Reddick. So used to Cup stuff. Justin Allgaier, sixth. Austin Cindric, seventh. Ty Dillon, eighth. Daniel Hemrick, ninth. And Ryan Reed is 10th. And at the end of the day, race winner was Kevin Harvick, leading 141 of 163 laps to win. Here's the rest of the top 10. Joey Logano, second. Christopher Bell, third. John Hunter Nemechek, fourth. Elliott Sadler, fifth. Justin Allgaier, sixth. Austin Cindric, seventh. Kyle Benjamin, eighth. Ryan Truex, ninth. And Ryan Reed is 10th. And then we get to what I believe was everyone's favorite race of the weekend, the Truck Series race at Atlanta. This was dominated by two different drivers, Noah Gragson and Kyle Busch. Busch was leading this race. We'll get to that. We'll get to more of that in a moment. But around I believe it was lap 2, Norm Benning spins in turn 2, and then lap 125, I believe, if not, it was 126. Josh Rayom was in an accident on the backstretch, and then we had everyone come down to pit road. Kyle Busch was leading. They messed up their pit stop, and he lost his left rear tire, which is mostly going to be a 3-race suspension, I've been hearing, on the crew chief, the tire changer, and the tire carrier. Crew chief actually may get 4 races, I'm not too sure. And then we had a restart. It was Myatt Snyder and I believe Johnny Sauter on the front row, and then Brett Moffitt made this unbelievable pass 3 wide, much more of an answer to what he did at Michigan, to win the race and give Hattori Racing Enterprises their first win. Brett Moffitt, you get a round of applause. I'm being quiet because I don't want to scare my cats. So your top 10 for stage 1, it was Noah Gragson, followed by Matt Crafton, Kyle Busch, Brett Moffitt, Jesse Little, Ben Rhodes, Johnny Sauter, Grant Enfinger, Stuart Friesen, and Spencer Davis. Your stage 2 top 10, it was Kyle Busch, followed by Johnny Sauter, Brett Moffitt, Matt Crafton, Noah Gragson, Grant Enfinger, Spencer Davis, Jesse Little, Parker Klickerman, and Dalton Sargent. Here's the rest of the top 10. Noah Gragson came home second, Johnny Sauter third, Ben Rhodes fourth, Matt Crafton fifth, my boy Stuart Friesen sixth, Myatt Snyder seventh, Jesse Little eighth, Grant Enfinger ninth, and Austin Dillon rounded out the top 10. That is your race recap from this weekend. Let's get on to the headlines. I want to see what you guys are saying in chat real quick. Nobody. Okay. So here are some headlines we got for you. This one doesn't really have to do with racing. It has to do with the track itself. But at Martinsville Speedway, the famous hot dog will once again feature Jesse Jones after a 2-year hiatus. The brand Southern Style Red Hot is back at the track. And the recipe, here's how it goes. It is a fully loaded dog on a steamed bun with Jesse Jones' own chili, and then coleslaw, mustard, and onions. That sounds very good. I want to try and get some Jesse Jones dogs for New York from the Virginia area, so I don't have to travel to Martinsville and get one. But yeah, now I'm hungry for hot dogs. And then we had one more, I believe. Yes, Monster Energy has requested another deadline extension with NASCAR to try and get a sponsorship for their title sponsor for next season. Let's see what this says here. This is just from a tweet. It's unclear whether or not NASCAR will accept their request, as it needs to begin planning for 2019 soon. That's the headlines. They were very quick, not that much in the news. We're going to get right on to discussion time. And there's Luna again for you. She's a love bug today. I think it's because she's missed me because I haven't been home since Sunday. Hey, baby. It's been a while. Hi, Ivy.
Okay.
Okay, we're all good. She decided to lay down next to me. Now that the cat's out of the lap, it's time for discussion time. Oh, now she wants to be petted. Hang on a second. Time out. Hey, baby girl, you want to be petted? You want to be petted? Yeah. Who's my girl? Yeah, that's right. You're my good girl, aren't you? Oh, I'm getting kisses. Yeah. That's my girl.
I feel so left out.
Rip.
All right, let's get on to discussion time. First question for you guys while I pet the cat is, what is your biggest takeaway this weekend from Atlanta? Michael, we'll start off with you.
My biggest takeaway is that these Chevrolet Camaro Z01s are going to take a little bit of time to come into their own at these mile-and-a-half racetracks and to finally be running up front again. I think we only had one Camaro finish in the top 10 in Atlanta, and pretty much only one running in the top 10 throughout the entire race. And we saw them running back outside the top 15 and the top 25, somewhere in there. It's going to take a little while for them to get their feet underneath them, but we got a couple mile-and-a-half tracks coming up, and the West Coast swing. We'll kind of see how the Camaros are looking then, but it's definitely going to take a little time, just like it happened with the Toyotas.
Okay, Kelvin.
That's what I learned. Absolutely nothing. Michael hit it. Chevys are really weak right now. It's going to take them a while. Mile-and-a-half racetracks are boring to watch anymore. It's going to be the same top 10 this weekend at Las Vegas, another mile-and-a-half racetrack. That's what I learned.
Okay. Cody.
I'm sorry, I did not get your question.
What is your biggest takeaway this weekend from Atlanta?
Well, I gotta say, all I gotta say is watch out for Harvick. If you see Harvick on the track, good chance he's gonna get it. Pretty much. And don't make any mistakes on pit road. Anything would be costly. Because look at some of these pit crews out there. Like, some of them even got held up by a second or two, and that costed them a ton of positions. So, I mean, these pit crews have a tighter job than ever, and we're starting to see that now.
Okay. Justin.
Brett Moffitt winning because it was the only good thing that happened this weekend.
I think my biggest takeaway from this weekend is that Stewart-Haas Racing is going to be a team you have to watch out for this season. They have been leading on the final lap of each race we've had this season, from Eric Almirola at Daytona to Kevin Harvick at Atlanta. You have to watch out for this team this season. This could be Ford's first championship since 2004, and that would be big.
Another thing you could add on to that, Marty, with Stewart-Haas Racing, they seem to be the first team to really get this new 5-man pit crew pit stop thing. I mean, they were running in the 14-second range for their pit stops.
Yes, that's right.
So that gives them a huge advantage to be able to get it to be this quick at the beginning of the season. And as we go along, it'll only get quicker for them. They'll only get more and more positions on track. And we know that with mile-and-a-halfs, well, not only mile-and-a-halfs, but some short tracks too, track position can be so important.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the next question for you guys, pretty simple question here. A lot of talk about it last year. Let's talk about it now. Is it time to repay the Atlanta Motor Speedway? I'm just gonna shut up now and just present everyone to Kelvin, because he's been talking about this all day today. Kelvin, the mic is yours.
Well, let's see. The racetrack, when it rains, has weepers. Granted, it didn't have it this weekend. They
Luckily,
wanted to redo it last year. They should have redone it at the end of last year because the racing has just become the Kevin Harvick zone. Kevin Harvick can go run there anywhere he wants, and that's all that's going to happen. Kevin Harvick can run high, he can run low. If he's running that low line, you're not catching him, as you saw this weekend. The racing has become very stagnant at all mile-and-a-half racetracks. Like, I hate mile-and-a-half racetracks now. I fell asleep twice during this race. I fell asleep in the second stage. Fell asleep until there's 15 laps to go, and Marty texted me and said, "Oh boy, we got something happening now." And we really didn't. Kevin Harvick pulled away after the final restart. Atlanta needs to be repaved. Marty, I understand that you're not a big fan of repaves because it takes 2 to 3 years for a track to come in. But
Yep.
that's what the PJ1 compound's for. They use it at Bristol now. They're talking about using it at Martinsville to get 3 lanes at Martinsville, which you really can't have 3 lanes at Martinsville.
Why would they use the PJ1 at Martinsville though? That doesn't
Yeah,
make
but no, that
They
could
want to
make
be able
it
to have
better.
passing throughout the whole. They want to have passing on the high side and the low side.
the racing's gonna not no. There's no way on earth.
They
No.
talked about it. They
No,
want to use
they-
PJ1. They're talking about using PJ1 also at Texas to increase Texas's.
PJ1 at Texas, I would understand, but if you put that stuff on Martinsville, you are just wasting your money
No.
purchasing that stuff.
No, that'll make it better. Make it way
No,
better.
Martinsville wouldn't be wasting money. Trust me. They would put it on the high side.
Martinsville
It
has
wouldn't be
any
on the low
banking,
side. They'd be
though.
trying to get passing into the corners without the bump and run, and you'd have runs off the top.
Think of it. Passing on the outside at Martinsville.
You'd see passing on the outside at Martinsville. You'd see faster times at Martinsville because you're running that high line. It's
Yeah.
the banking is the issue at Martinsville. So if Martinsville ever gets repaved, maybe they would increase the banking in the corners. Highly unlikely, just because of the shape of it. It'd be kind of hard to put a deeper banking in there without widening the corners a bit at Martinsville. But testing PJ1 compound out there wouldn't be a big deal.
I mean, I hope they do.
I don't think
That would be amazing.
that's gonna happen because
I think if they do it, they're going to have to
That's
test it like they are right now. Like they're testing Charlotte a million times. You're going to have to test PJ1 compound at Martinsville a zillion times before you actually do it.
well, here's the thing with short tracks. Martinsville barely has any banking. You take a look at all those short track races we have in like the K&N Pro Series.
It
where you
actually
have
has
modified.
12 degrees.
That is classic short track racing. So in my opinion, if you put that PJ1 compound on, you are ruining short track racing
I
by
mean,
people passing the high line. No,
I mean, Martinsville has 12 degrees banking in the turns.
that's not enough. That's not
Yeah, it
enough.
still is. Imagine
Bristol's
passing on the outside lane at Martinsville. That would be incredible.
No,
That really
John.
would
I
be
don't
incredible.
No, actually, it wouldn't. Because we see now the drivers are starting to use a little bit of strategy where they go into the corner low, kind of come up the racetrack a little bit to be able to carry some momentum on the high lane, and then it becomes a little bit harder to pass when we get later into runs. If you're running the outside at Martinsville, you're not going to be able to pass on the inside because those cars on the outside are going to get such big runs off the corner. You're not going to be able to get enough of a run on them unless you bump them going into the corner.
The concrete. That'll be like a nice battle.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move. Let's go to Cody. Is it time? Let's recap the question. 'Cause I think we've gotten too far away from it after one.
Yeah, we went from
Yeah,
Atlanta to
got
Mar-
too far away.
we went from Georgia to Virginia. I don't know how that happened.
Yes. Is it time to repave Atlanta?
Well, I think it's about time to repave Atlanta. And here's why. Because Atlanta, as of right now, has one of the oldest asphalts out of all the tracks in the NASCAR schedule. So it's about time to repave the track. Who knows? Maybe we'll see some better and more exciting racing next year.
Yeah, who knows? All right, Justin.
Yep, they should help make the race better, not let Kevin Harvick dominate. Like always.
You guys feel like you guys? It sounds like to me you guys are saying the reason why we should repave Atlanta is because Kevin Harvick's dominating.
No, I say you need to repay
Kevin
the world.
Then we should say that about Phoenix then.
Hey, didn't they repave it now,
No,
Phoenix?
it's not just repaved; it's being reconfigured.
Yeah, but
You're
didn't they
no longer
repave?
allowed to use that little chicane down there in the little trioval area.
You guys got to remember something. Harvick didn't win at all at Phoenix last year. Think of
Harvick
that.
hadn't won in Atlanta in 17 years.
Yeah. Still, Phoenix is like his best track, and he didn't win there at all last year.
All right, Michael's been waiting patiently. Let's hear from you. You already heard my take.
Yeah, I kind of touched on it a little bit last week. I feel like we should have repaved Martinsville. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
we should have.
Jeez, Michael.
Yeah, I know. We should have repaved Atlanta last year and gone through our growing pains this year. Because honestly, I don't think the race would have been much better. But who knows? I mean, we didn't repave it, so uh, I just think it's time. You know, we get weather there every year. We got lucky that we didn't have weepers this year, but if it rains there again, we're chances are there will be weepers and the rain delay will take longer. And the 2.5 hour wait was long enough just to get the track dry, but it take another hour to dry out the weepers and then to keep having cautions for them during the race. It just disrupts the flow of it, and you know I don't really think it has anything to do with Kevin Harvick because he just has he figured out what kind of line that he likes to run there, and he mentioned that some track that he used to race in early on in his career was kind of similar to Atlanta, and you know he I guess he kind of has experience running that kind of track now, and now people are starting to pick it up and trying to run that same line as him, but it's going to take a little bit of time because they haven't been running that line their entire career. You know, you used to be able to run the outside and the inside at Atlanta and be able to make your lines work and be able to pass, but things are just kind of changing now, and you got to keep up with the competition. This weekend, Kevin Harvick was pretty much the only competition, so you got to figure out how to beat him. And everyone thought that running the inside lane was the best way to beat him, and they just weren't able to do it as well as he was.
Okay. So let's get to the next question here. It's gonna be about Kevin Harvick. Would you call him after his dominance the past few years and now finally getting the win? Is this man the greatest driver to race at Atlanta Motor Speedway? Cody.
Hmm. Like, Harvick's already the best driver ever to race at, let's say, the Phoenix International Raceway, but now it's going to be called some weird track now. But,
Raceway.
yeah, IMS Raceway, that is going to be a weird name. But here's what I'm going to say about this. Harvick, depending on when they choose to do the repave, Harvick will be one of the best drivers at Atlanta. I'm not going to say he's the best just yet, but I am going to say that he is like one of the greatest drivers at Atlanta. Like, not number one in my book.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Justin?
Harvick. I really don't like Kevin Harvick. I hate Kevin Harvick with a passion. I do.
You're mumbling. Speak up.
I said I hate Kevin Harvick with a passion. That's what I said.
That's not the question.
All right. I know that's not the question. I just wanted to say that. But anyways, Harvick dominated Atlanta because he's the only one that can hook the yellow line and he dominates Phoenix. I honestly don't want to answer this question, but I guess Harvick is probably the only driver that's really good at Phoenix and Atlanta these days because we lost all the great drivers. So all the legends. All right, move on to someone else.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about this one this time. Michael.
Best driver at Atlanta. I'm going to say no, only because we've been racing at Atlanta for a while and we've had so many fantastic drivers on this track. Plus, the configuration has been changed. So we don't know how Kevin Harvick would have done on the old
Yeah,
configuration of
true.
Atlanta. But if we're talking about maybe the last 10 years, last 15 years, maybe, I would say that Harvick has been able to find a way to keep his car up front. He's able to hook that yellow line like no one else can. He's really, really fast. They always bring a good car. Um, Plus, with the way this surface is, the tire wear is really bad. The tires just get shot so quickly,
Yeah.
especially with how hard these guys have to run sometimes to even keep up with Kevin. And by then, he can just pull away. I mean, we were watching his onboard, and everyone heard how quickly he got out of the throttle. I mean, it was like 1,000 feet maybe before he even got to or 500 feet or something before he got to the entrance of the turn. He was letting off the throttle, so he's able to save his tires. And, the clean air with the way the cars are today, the clean air is so important, and it helps your car so much. And he's just got a good situation right now.
Yep. All right, Kelvin.
Well, Kevin Harvick's average finish at Atlanta Motor Speedway is 5.33. His average start is in the top 10, and his lowest finish at Atlanta is 9th.
Is it really?
Also led almost 1,000 laps the last 4 races at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the most by any driver in the history of Atlanta Motor Speedway. I believe he now owns that record as well. But he's only gotten 2 wins at the racetrack. So I'm going to have to say, is he the best at Atlanta? Absolutely. I don't think you're ever going to see this type of dominance come from another driver at any particular track ever. The rest of the time you're in NASCAR, just because of all the rule changes and how everything is changing, especially with the repave soon to come in Atlanta.
All right.
His lowest finish is 9th. He's never finished outside the top 10.
Not according to this stat I'm on.
What's
That
that?
9th place finish must have been last year from his pit road speeding incident. That's crazy.
All
That's
right.
like Jimmy at Dover, and even then he's still wrecked out of races there.
Kevin Harvick. Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Speaking of Jimmy Johnson, this brings us to our next question.
Oh dear.
2 races in, and both of Jimmy Johnson's finishes have been outside the top 20. This is the first time we've seen that ever in Jimmy Johnson's career. Is it time to get nervous for him in 2018? Yeah. Excuse me. Okay, I'm all
God
good.
bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we started with Cody last time. Justin's first.
All right. Nah, Jimmy Johnson's fine. He'll be fine. Honestly, this will be his comeback year after last year. Because, it's Jimmy Johnson, probably the best active driver as of right now. Ain't him, it's Kyle Busch. But anyways, Johnson's, he's going to make a comeback. He's going to be back to his old self. I ain't worried about him at all. He'll be fine.
Okay. I don't think we should be nervous with Jimmy yet, unless we're like 10 races in the season and this kept happening. Then you would be in panic mode. But I think Jimmy's just got to get the ring rust off of his shoulders and of his body, and I think he'll be fine. Mr. Kelly.
All right, well, I have 3 reasons for why we should not be worried about Jimmy Johnson yet. The first reason is we're 2 races in. There's no reason to hit the panic button on anything when we're only 2 races in. The second reason is because we're driving a new body. The Camaros are driving a new body. Or the Chevrolets are driving a new body. The Camaro Z01. All the Camaros struggled. Like I said, I think we only had one top 10 finisher who was a Camaro. That was Kyle Larson, who was the fastest Chevrolet last year. And even then, it was only like a 9th or 10th place finish.
It was actually 2, by the way. Chase Elliott got a top 10.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, we had 2. But the way the race was going, I didn't think we were going to even have 1. But all the other Camaros finished outside. I'm pretty positive on this. That all the other Camaros finished outside the top 15. The highest one being Austin Dillon, who was the Daytona 500 winner. So, like I said, it's going to take some time for them to get their feet underneath them with this new body, with this new car. they'll pick it up. They'll go through the West Coast swing and start hitting those mile and a halves, hit their stride, and get back in victory lane, hopefully. And then the third reason is Jimmy was running in the top 20. He was one of the, surprisingly, one of the highest running Camaros during the race, and he was only in like 17th or 18th place. And then he got stuck a lap down, and then the tire blew, and he wrecked. And like I said, he was running inside the top 20, so he was right there with the other Camaros. But just the damage on track, or that damage caused him to be a couple laps down and stuck behind the field. And with the limited amount of cautions we had, he was never really able to get his laps back and fight his way back through the field. But yeah, no, don't worry about him yet. We'll see how it is after the West Coast swing.
Okay. All right, Cody.
I don't really think it's time to worry about Johnson just yet. Like, not yet. Like, next thing you know, when he goes out through a drought like this, he goes on a war. So, at this point, we are just getting ready to see Jimmy Johnson dominate one of the upcoming months in the regular season before the playoffs. So, don't be surprised, Johnson fans. He's probably going to win 3 out of 4 of those races within a span of a month at this rate.
All right. 2 more questions left, and then we'll get to Come On Man. The first one is let's talk about the pick gun. We are 2 races in. What are your thoughts on this standardized pick gun that NASCAR has been using? I'm gonna go first. It's a big challenge, man, especially with now just 5 men over a wall. The big challenge these drivers have to put on them, and I think we are seeing anyone try and get. We see a lot more drivers win these races off pit road than like only like 3 drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing. That's my opinion on it, Michael.
Well, with now only 5 guys pitting the car instead of 6, there's already enough panic and dysfunction as it is. But when you have something like the air gun malfunction, which is something that NASCAR is supposed to provide, and you would think that NASCAR would provided it shouldn't be failing. I mean, they should have tested this thing. It should be perfect. There should be no bugs with it. And I heard Martin Truex Jr. mention that this kind of thing shouldn't be happening. And hopefully it gets fixed, because what if we're still dealing with this and we get to the chase and it costs somebody a playoff spot? What if it costs somebody a spot in the championship 4? Because we saw, I think it was the last pit stop or second last pit stop, we had an air gun failure, and it cost somebody a lot of spots. So, this issue needs to be fixed as soon as possible, and hopefully won't be talking about it anymore.
Okay, Kelvin.
The driver you are referring to that had the gun incident was your eventual race winner. Happened in stage 2. At the end of it, Kevin Harvick's gun failed. The cord was somehow cut, and it provided no CO2 to the gun, so they had to bring him back down pit road to make sure all 5 lug nuts were tight on that tire, which is why Kevin Harvick did not win stage 2, because he dominated that entire race and should have easily swept all 3 stages. NASCAR needs to figure this out. Michael's right. You get to the chase and this is still an issue, you're going to be having all 16 drivers that make the chase begging to have their own guns and equipment brought back, because NASCAR also provides the CO2 tanks, the hoses, and the gun itself. There's no part that NASCAR does not provide for that gun system, period. So that is something that NASCAR needs to fix in order to be chase ready. But yet we are only 2 races in, so hopefully it is fixed in the next handful of races, so this is no longer an issue or topic to talk about.
Okay, Cody.
Okay, multitasking is certainly cutting my whatever it is. It's really cutting my productivity. What was it?
After 2 races, what are your thoughts on the standardized air gun NASCAR mandates?
Oh, standardized air gun. Okay. Yeah, it's like, I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. Like, I actually saw a comparison between someone's air gun and what NASCAR uses, and they just do it so much better. It's like they're making up the time that they would have had over losing a crew member. So the pit stops would be just as fast, pretty much. So all I gotta say is they just have less crew members and the same amount of time for pit stops. I gotta be pretty impressed with the technology NASCAR has nowadays. So I gotta say, keep going with that NASCAR. Just make it a lot more advanced, and maybe we'll see the Gen 7 right before you know it.
Okay. Justin?
Standardized air gun. I mean, not really great, but it kind of, now with 5 guys over the wall, kind of, makes pit stops kind of more interesting to see, who's going to get off pit road first. Not always the dominant guy. I mean, that could happen. You never know. Just saying.
Okay. Alrighty. So now
real
the
quick.
final question is, oh yeah.
Real quick, Marty.
Yeah.
I got kicked out because I was looking at the results from Atlanta. Kelvin, you mentioned Kevin.
Yeah, he's
Had
wrecked a
the
couple.
problem.
Look, yeah,
You
Kevin Harvick
mentioned
had.
that. Yeah, he had the problem with the air gun. That was in stage 2, so he had time to recover from it. But I think the guy who I was referring to was Kurt Busch, who was in the top 3 battling for the win late in the race and ended up finishing in 8th. And if I remember correctly, he was one of 3 guys who had a problem with the air gun. Now, granted, there was only like 10 cars in the lead lap, but if we have 25, then that's going to be a bigger issue.
Okay. All right. So the final question for you guys is: after 2 races, we're going to the Truck Series. By the way, what are your thoughts on the spec engines we're seeing now? Michael, you're first.
We could pass Kyle Busch, so I give it a fat thumbs up.
The only way we're passing Kyle Busch is if he's going down pit road and.
No, I mean like early in the race before we had that green flag run at the end, they passed Kyle Busch. Like Kyle Busch did not dominate that race until we got late into it. It was Noah Gragson, it was Matt Crafton, it was Johnny Sauter. They were passing Kyle Busch. They were throwing him back deeper into the field, and he's probably used to being in the Truck Series. So, with the fact that we had that kind of competition, I give it a thumbs up.
Dang. Okay. All right, Kelvin.
Well, Marty, you and I talked about this at extent a couple days ago after the race we saw, and the fact that you had Moffitt go 3 wide to win it again, this only goes to prove that the spec engine is something to look forward to in NASCAR. I think you're going to eventually see it. This is the testing session for it, and that's the Truck Series. You're going to see it in the Xfinity Series here in probably a 2-year period, because they're not going to push it through next year because they want to see another year of truck racing with it. And it's just something that's going to try and save teams and make everything competitive all at the same time. So,
Okay. All right, Cody.
I legitimately did not hear your question this time.
Spec engine for Truck Series.
Fucking sin.
The engine for Truck Series. Okay. So, I think the engine for Truck Series are alright. I thought it was an okay race this weekend. I wish the pack was like slightly closer than it was in some of the parts, but it was pretty good for a race at Atlanta. And it's the early part of the season, so not everyone's going to go totally aggressive. So don't be surprised if the action picks up rather quick next time.
Okay. And finally, Justin.
It's a great race. I like this new engine. It really changes up the competition, makes it better. I mean, like what Michael said, drivers were able to pass Kyle Busch. Think of that. So, with this new engine, it can help the Truck Series, make the racing better. Just like that.
Okie dokie. That does it for discussion time, and now we have one more segment to do, and
Hey,
that is. Oh, I know, I
Marty.
forgot my. What?
No. You got me. I just wanted to add on to that. Jesse Little was in the top 5. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh my
The
gosh.
little team that could.
Jesse Little is a driver with a lot of talent. I mean,
Now, the
think about
little
it. He's
team
been
that had, and the little team that did do it was Parker Kligerman and the 75 team.
Exactly. This is a small team that Jesse Little is with.
I
Their
think
product,
it's a team.
their top 5 is a product of the spec engine.
Sweet.
Of course, it wasn't top 5 because the final restart. But
It's not big.
I mean, Jesse Little's running top 5 and top 10 before. So, in that equipment. Think about that.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Good for him. All right. Anyway, now it's time for a little bit of come on, man. The epic fails from this past week, and I'll get started first off.
Who Marty's going with?
Alrighty. I am going to be calling out the pit crew on the number 4 Toyota Tundra of Kyle Busch's team. Even though Kyle Busch is the second driver I can't stand and like, even though I do like what he's done with the fans. Sorry, number 1 is now Denny Hamlin. Here's the thing. You guys are planning a 2-tire pit stop. But then you guys mess everything up. And then you go with a 4-tire pit stop as well instead. And then to the left of your tire changer. What happens? Oh my gosh, the wheel falls off. Pretty sure that's 3 weeks. And I think it is. Oh my gosh, pit crew, get your stuff together. You guys cost Kyle Busch a win. This ain't driver's fault. This is pit crew's fault. So, to the tire change of number 4, I think you're the Stewart Haas Cup Series teams, one of them. Come on, man. Who's next?
Go ahead, Marty. Let me go next.
All right.
My come on, man, just happened to be you now, Marty. I want you to go back and watch that replay. I want you to go back and watch that replay really good and see how many more tires on the other side of that wall when Kyle Busch takes off, because that was a 4-tire change that Kyle Busch called an audible on because they struggled on the right front. That was an audible by Kyle Busch, and they were planning a 4-tire stop. So come on, Marty, go back and watch the replay. That's on Kyle Busch, bud.
Yeah, but he wasn't patient.
Kyle Busch called an audible. That was a 4-tire stop all day. And Kyle Busch screwed it up because he got scared because of that right front issue on the right front. They had 2 more tires on the other side ready to go, and Kyle Busch took off.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't watch the truck race, so...
Watch the replay,
Come on, Marty.
Watch the replay, homie.
Come on, Marty.
Kyle Busch,
Come on, man.
You just got come on, Marty.
Come on, Marty.
Come on, Marty. Show the whole screen so everybody can see that it's a come on, Marty moment.
Oh, they actually did take 2 tires only.
No, look at the other side. There's 2 more tires, brand new. There's green lines on them, ready to go on the truck, and he took off because they struggled on the right front. The pit crew even said, "Look, I'm sitting here waiting."
3 tires, it looks like.
The other one's in the front of the truck, ready to go on, and Kyle Busch takes off.
I can't believe he's actually arguing this.
4-tire stop. Kyle Busch called an audible.
Like, look at this. Look at this. Hang on, I'll show you guys. Look at this. So they changed the 2 tires. And then
look, there's one right there, ready to go. And there's the other one on top of the wall, getting ready to get picked up by the guy.
Pause the video, Marty. Pause the video. Pause the video. Oh, my God.
Go back. I got to rewind it a little bit. Look at the top of the screen. Pause it. Now look at the top on the wall. Look at it.
Marty, why are you so bad at this?
Look at the top of the wall. There's a tire sitting right there.
Marty,
the
talk so we can see full screen. Talk.
Why? Why did I just get owned?
You just got schooled, son.
All right, what else do you guys got? What else?
Well, I'm gonna be picking on my favorite driver again. Take a look at the point standings, all right?
38.
Mark Thompson has run 1 race in the Cup Series. He is ahead of Jimmy Johnson, a 7-time champion, possible greatest of all time in our sport. Mark Thompson, who ran his last Cup Series race, I think he only ran like 3 of them in his entire career, is ahead of Jimmy Johnson in the point standings after 2 races. Greg Alding, who is with the team who filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, has more points than Jimmy Johnson after 2 races this season. 48 crew, Chuck, and now Jimmy Johnson, Rick Hendricks, 7-time champions. Like I said, possible greatest of all time in the sport. This is not how to start a season. Come on, man.
All right, anyone else got one?
Come on, Marty.
I got nothing.
Watch your replays before you diss Pit Crews.
Well, here's the thing. I watched it. Here's the thing. I hadn't watched it since. I hadn't watched the replay again since like Sunday morning.
Excuses.
Shut up.
Don't worry. That's the best clown.
Hey,
His own show.
There's a new NASCAR game, guys. NASCAR Rush.
I've been playing it.
Oh,
It's
God,
fun.
no, God, Marty's been
Yeah, I
playing
should download that. I just heard about that today.
I like it.
We have no ones.
This is a fun game. You know what? I'm gonna make a bet with you guys. I'm gonna make a deal. I bet you I can play this game backwards.
I bet you can't.
Well, let's see if I can. We'll go endless race. We'll go endless race, and we'll go to Daytona. And yeah, the game crashed on me. Dilly.
Did you update your phone?
Dilly Dilly Toilet.
Not yet.
Yeah, you have to update it. That's one of the bugs it fixes is in-app crashes. I did mine yesterday because Snapchat kept shutting off on me.
Did you mention Justin Marks earlier, Marty?
Oh, no, he didn't.
What happened?
He's driving the 54 for DGR Crossley this weekend at Vegas in the Xfinity Series.
Nice. Yeah, we'll be talking more about Vegas on Thursday, previewing the triple header once again this weekend. And what are we looking forward to?
Ooh, Casey Kane's got a new ride this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
New scheme?
I just got on Reddit. Apparently my kick day is in like 2 days. That's like the birthday for when you created your account on Reddit.
Nice. Calvin, nice.
Casey's got a new paint scheme this weekend.
That's cool. All right. So I know with their team are short, oh well. That's going to do it for this episode of Motorsports 360, brought to you by Dodge and Credit One Bank. Not really. I wish we were. But yeah, tune in Thursday. We'll be talking about Las Vegas and previewing the weekend. So for Justin, for Cody, for Kelvin, and for Michael, I'm Marty. Saying so long. This is Motorsports 360. Say bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
2, 3, in a dodge.
Dodge.
Dilly.
Dilly.
Brought to you by Credit One Bank.